morning on a Wednesday. Cappy, we've received a missive from Danny Zetterman. It sounds like the great Tony Pavic is on the case. He's going to get you back.
Well, I'm going to need Danny to keep his beak out of it. This is very hard for Cap. We don't need Zetterman making fun here. That's what he's doing. He's just trying to poke at you, Cap. Don't you just keep your beak out of it, Zetterman. How about that? Let Cap had it. He's got it. We've got people on the case. Don't worry about it.
But how about this? The great people at Apt Electronics.
Yes.
My friend Eric just texted me. Do you have the tag number? I have a friend that's worked there in baggage forever. She's going to try and get your bag for you.
Look at all these people showing out for you. I wonder if we could get a listener to drive to Toronto and pick up your bag.
Well, here's the thing. Once again, it's not about the sledgehammer. It's about, being kind, the feather. Me with the clarion call to the people in the first hour. Mm-hmm. The QR code at the bottom of the screen. That's what would work, Shay. You don't demand anything. True. What I did is a nice appeal. You see that, Jay Moore? An appeal. That's what I did.
I'm right there with you.
We should just get a partner and see if we can just get a bus. We just drive to go get the bag, man.
We'll give out tickets so people can sit on the bus with us as we go pick up Cap's bag
Windy
in Toronto.
City Limo. Take us up there in one of their little buses.
So, you're asking for a partner now.
Wow. You just worry about fixing your bucks.
Oh, man. Shay, I was going to say, out of everybody in sports, if someone comes into town, like, for instance, like a Messi in soccer, Ohtani the same way. Ohtani, clearly the Pied Piper to be able to bring people to the ballpark for the White Sox yesterday. If I give you Messi and Ohtani, can you give me a third in which people say, I'm coming to the ballpark to see this one individual?
Caitlin Clark. Let's move on.
In baseball.
Messi doesn't play baseball.
I was going to say, just like I'm talking about anyone else in the sport.
In the sport of baseball?
Yeah.
No.
Damn.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
There are rumors developing that the Chicago Bears are potentially looking into signing free agent center Connor Williams. Williams was regarded as one of the best centers in the NFL before a knee injury ended his season in 2023. Injury concerns seem to kind of be the only thing that would hold the Bears back from this. We know in the past, Ryan Poles has been, I'll say, reticent to sign guys with an injury history. But if the Bears bring in Connor Williams and he is healthy, shot or no shot, this is a division-winning signing.
That's a shot. Connor Williams was going to be the prize on the offensive line this offseason until early December when the Scott Hansen report, we just learned that Connor Williams has torn his ACL on Red Zone.
Yeah.
And everyone went, oh, my God. The Bears were going to be in a bidding war. There were a lot of teams that were after that dude. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, blown ACL later, he's still unsigned, and he just had a medical check that I was reading about where he said, I think I'll be ready to go opening game. Opening game? Took Derrick Rose 2 years to come back from that. This guy's going to play offensive line. It's like 9 months.
Well,
holy cow.
That technology is something else, isn't it?
It's amazing how it's changed. Like, and we learned that Derrick had a lot more issues that he was dealing with physically. It's not a shot at Derrick. It's praise for the medical industry. This guy tore it in December, and he's going to be ready to play O-line in September. Good for him, man. Bring him in if he can play.
Yeah, I would say that is a shot. When you think about it from a wins above replacement standpoint, I don't know if it goes that far, but it just solidifies a spot that is sorely needed on this football team. So I would say that would solidify and lock in a spot. That way you don't have to worry about it. Because that guy could be solid for you, an anchor in that spot.
Well, then you could move Ryan Bates to the right guard spot.
Yeah.
And use Nate Davis as a swing guy until you can get enough money off the books to eat his contract and get him out of here.
I was going to ask follow-up, shot or no shot, signing Connor Williams would end Nate Davis's time in Chicago.
But what's his dead cap right now? Because that's all you have to look at. Nate Davis's contract, I'll tell you what his dead cap number is.
I'm very bottom line with it, Cap, and I just think that if you have a question about your roster, you want to remove as many questions as possible. That that signing would remove that question mark.
His dead cap hit right now is still $12.7 million.
If you post June 1st, you actually save money cutting him.
Post June 1?
Post June 1 designation, you save about $600,000 cutting him. $10 million on the dead cap, and there's a $600,000 savings on it. If they sign Connor Williams, I think he's gone.
Maybe, but they do need some depth pieces. Like, he at least gives you depth. I'm not sure they release him. I think he doesn't have his starting spot just handed to him. All of a sudden, you go Connor Williams, Ryan Bates, Tevin Jenkins, Darnell Wright, Braxton Jones, and then you got Coleman Shelton, who you signed, and a kid, Kieran Amagaji, who you drafted out of Yale. So all of a sudden now, you got some different pieces in there. Larry Borum's still around. Like, you got some depth in there. I don't know if they release him, but maybe.
Shay.
All right, the New York Knicks made a pretty surprising trade yesterday. They shipped Bojan Bogdanovic along with, count them, 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges from the Nets. Bridges is a good player, but probably not a top 40 guy that would have you rushing to cash in your war chest of draft capital. The Knicks did. Made me wonder, shot or no shot, the Bulls will get a first-round pick for Zach LaVine.
That's a shot. That's a shot. Now, they're not getting a unprotected pick that's going to end up in the top 5. No. But could they get some type of a pick?
Yeah.
Yes. But now we're hearing, and KC Johnson, who I love. KC Johnson does not report things without doing his due diligence. He is not a ready, shoot, aim guy. You know that. KC is saying there's a path to a reconciliation between the Bulls and Zach LaVine, where he would play the 2-guard spot or the wing alongside Josh Giddey. Because Zach, one thing he can do is shoot the ball. So if you're not playing him with DeMar DeRozan, like I spoke to a current NBA head coach, not named Dilly Donovan, and this coach said to me, if you're going to keep DeRozan, then the trade for Giddey was stupid. If you're going to let DeRozan go and you're going to let this guy have the ball in his hands and be a ball-dominant lead guard, worth a shot to go from a 30-year-old guy to a 22-year-old guy. He was disappointed you couldn't add some type of draft capital. You got the Knicks throwing 50 picks at somebody. You couldn't get Oklahoma City to give you one? Nothing? Couple seconds? Nothing? But he said it's worth a risk. But he said, again, if you keep DeRozan with this kid you just got, dumb.
It's a shot that you can get a first-round draft pick for Zach LaVine. Yes, you could. Will the Bulls do that? I'm not sure that they will. As a matter of fact, I could tell you that the doors are closing a lot around the NBA on Zach LaVine being part of their team. There's a lot of doors that are closing, that they don't want Zach on the team. It's not because of the amount of scoring that he can provide. It's also the injury risk. Where was he at the end of the season? He was hurt, correct?
Correct.
So for the
surgery.
For the amount of money that he's been paid, we talk about return on investment a lot on this show, right?
Correct.
Have the Bulls been able to really get that from Zach LaVine on a regular basis?
And he's still on $120 million on the deal.
There are teams that are balking at even thinking about Zach LaVine being on their team.
And he's a good person. Like, he's not cancerous in the locker room.
No, it's about production.
Correct. They're like, wait, we have to take back how much money?
Right.
If he was in the final year of his deal, I think you'd have a lot of suitors. $120 million?
I think there's a prevailing thought around the league that says that if we have a good team and we add Zach LaVine on it, he will be ball dominant and want to get his lion's share of the shots. But if you already have a ready-made team, and if he's not willing to come off the bench, then what's his worth? Especially for the amount of money that he's making. That's a thought from a number of teams in the league. Shay.
All right, you, Kap, Woody had a reaction yesterday to JJ Redick working blue in his introductory press conference with the Lakers, dropping F-bombs. Waddle and Sylvie show, Peggy and Sylvie yesterday talked to Mike Wilbon. He weighed in on this.
You know JJ Redick, we don't. And we were surprised that this took on a bigger story than we were anticipating. His reaction, I don't know if you heard the press conference.
I watched the whole thing.
Okay, so when he was asked about dispelling, he was asked the question about the misconception about him and if there's anything he would like to dispel.
He dropped the F-bomb.
And he dropped the F-bomb. There were people who I looked to who were like turned off and were saying that's not a place to swear. That's a press conference. We don't. Okay. What did you say again?
Get a life. Get a life. It's sports. It's locker rooms. It's what you do.
Everyone uses that word now. Everyone does.
Well, but you know what, Peggy? I have to get used to the fact that these things are on live television because I know when I'm having real conversation, I'm not using the word interview, which is the dumbest, most, just misguidedly used word when it comes to these things. Interview, you're not interviewing anybody. You're having conversations unless you are sitting with someone and you are appointed to have an interview.
Yes.
And we've all had many of those, and we know the difference. So if you're having a conversation, my language is going to be whatever it is to put that person at ease with me and me be comfortable with that person. And with people in sports, and particularly, yes, I'm going to get pejorative here, with men, it's going to be salty. It's going to have four-letter words. Mine would have that 90% of the time. So get a life. People who think that they think JJ Redick's going to walk into a locker room and not use that word all day and all night.
Right.
Shut up. Get out of my life. I hate those people.
Shot or no shot, Wilbon's right. Redick did nothing wrong.
Oh, well, he's completely wrong. Wilbon is completely wrong about it. Well, so since it's commonplace for him to use four-letter words, do it with Kornheiser on PTI. Just use it because that's how we talk, right? And since we're casual in that conversation, then do it on one of the greatest shows that ESPN's ever produced. Go ahead and use it. Why doesn't Wilbon do that? It's because he's on live television. He's a professional. So you can't ask the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers to be a professional just for an hour to talk to the press? No, yeah. So you can hate me, Wilbon. I couldn't care less. You can hate me. I don't care. Since he trailed off and said that you hate those people. Okay, then why don't you use those words? Go ahead. The reason why is because it's about professionalism. You want to do that in the locker room, that's where it belongs. But you have to represent not only the Lakers, but yourself, your brand. You're JJ Redick. And so you feel comfortable saying that probably on local TV in Los Angeles, definitely on ESPN LA. You want to do that? Go right ahead. But it looks bad for you when you do that. You mean you have no. Here's the thing, Kap. What do we always say about coaching? You want to make sure your players have discipline. But if the tip of the spear doesn't have discipline, then you can kind of find out what the Lakers are going to be all about. If he doesn't have discipline in his own mouth to be able to represent himself and the Lakers, what do you think the Lakers are going to be like?
Yeah, I was actually stunned by Mike's response to Sylvie and Peggy. Stunned. Again, in the locker room, and you're talking to your team, yeah, that's how people talk. That's pro sports. It is. No problem with it. You're standing around with a bunch of the reporters at a shoot-around, and you drop an F, no problem. It's just part of the deal. A live press conference that's airing live on radio and TV around the country, streaming everywhere around the world, and it's on live on TV in LA, and you're dropping F-bombs, that is offensive and inappropriate. Do I use that word? Yes. I don't use it on the radio. I don't use it on TV. No. I thought Mike's response, and I love Mike, Mike's response was ridiculous.
And again, I'm no prude, but when it comes to this situation, you have to understand time and place.
Yeah.
Time and place.
Correct.
You want to be able to use that. Use it anytime you want. But the point is, though, is that, how come Wilbon doesn't use it then? Because he understands his job would be on the line if he did that. How come JJ Redick didn't do that on First Take? He did it on the podcast because it's just wide open. It's a podcast with LeBron or, the old man of the three on that other podcast. You could do it on that particular platform.
Podcast is different.
But
they allow it.
But you are the head coach of the Lakers.
Correct.
Time and place.
Agreed.
And by the way, when it fails, you will look like a complete idiot.
Correct.
Because I'm the big badass JJ Redick. I'm walking in here like the sheriff, the new sheriff in town, and then using all that language. And again, I'm no prude, Cap. I'm just saying that he can say what he wants to say, but you have to understand that you're representing an organization when you take that mic.
He also had to deal with a controversy from a woman from Duke who said that he said something very offsides to her when he was a player, racially, used an epithet toward her. She said, the only time that's ever been said to my face was by a Duke basketball player. And today he was named head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. What a world. And now his team immediately responded, said, that's not true. It never happened. Okay. So he said, she said situation. But right away, he's got two things he's already dealing with. Mm-hmm. People that are mad about him using the F-bomb in the setting that he did, and then what she tweeted.
Yeah, and just for the record, I'm not mad at JJ Redick. What I'm saying is that you have to understand who you are and who the Lakers are. And you have to be professional. There's professional settings, and then there's settings in which you want to be loose, you can be loose. Only makes sense to me. You know, Sylvie's like almost like giving an amen in the background. Sylvie, you dropped the F word today with Jesse. See how long you last around here, or any of us.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was very, very pathetic that JJ did that. And again, there are other settings. We've all stood around coaches where they,
sure, that's why
my effing team or this or that. That's different.
Yeah.
Not where he was doing it.
Your introduction press conference, and it's that?
On live TV.
It's like, Around the NFL is next on Kap and J Hood.